All right, so how can you keep your agency legal? This is what you got to do. So starting off, if you're under the age of 18, you have to understand that contracts and agreements aren't like legally binding to you. So you're not able to have contracts and have agreements, which you shouldn't get thrown off by. It's just I would recommend just studying until you can have contracts and agreements, and just like get experience from family and friends. So, but if you are 18 and above 18, this is what you have to do to keep your agency legal. So first of all, if you already don't have an LLC, there's you can either go on like LegalZoom, like websites like that, but it can get expensive. Like it's like $300, and it's very not necessary to do that because you can just do it on your own. So so having an LLC is just make sure your personal assets aren't, like if something happens, because stuff can happen to your agency, you just want to protect it so your personal assets won't get attacked. So how to get an LLC, you can spend like $300 on like a professional website like LegalZoom or something like that, but you can do it yourself, and it's very easy. You just have to find the form for your state if you live in America. I don't know anything about Europe and other places like that. But if you do live in the States, I live in Ohio, so you can just search your Ohio Secretary website or something like that, and you can find the form there. It's just an LLC form, and it just what they do if you do it online is it's just they sign it, like they have someone sign it, but you can just sign it on your own, and it just takes like 10 more seconds. So I would just do it on your own, and it's like only $100. So you save $200 by doing it on your own. So I would recommend doing that. So you can just search your states. So states. So your states LLC form, and you can just find it on Google like that, and that will make it a lot easier for you. So step 2 is when you have a client and you are out selling and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you actually have the correct documentation in order to actually get that client, so you don't have to get sued or anything like that. So next step is having the correct forms. So forms for your agency. So what forms do you need? So as you're getting a client, you understand that you have to have an agreement. I mean, you don't have to have it, but yeah, I would recommend it. Agreement. So having an agreement just allows both parties to know, so you and your client understand that the services you're providing them and the compensation for the services you're providing your client. So an agreement is just so both parties understand what is being exchanged. And in certain states, I'm not sure, but the state I live in, just because marketing and advertising isn't like tangible, like you're not like giving someone like a piece of paper or something like that, there's no sales tax. So that's a really good thing. So there's no sales tax, nothing like that, no weird stuff like that. Just when you get it signed, make sure you have the invoice. So an invoice is a huge part of your client being able to allow for them to write it off. So what's so great about doing an agency or having an agency is your client can write off your services. So that's like just a benefit for them, so they can feel more like secure when paying you, so they can write it off and they can save some money on that, which is cool. So having an invoice is just a way for them to make sure the IRS, whatever, actually acknowledges that you're helping them with marketing. So what is an invoice? How do you make an invoice? An invoice is just saying that like every time, every month, or however you set up the payment plan, you give them an invoice so they understand the services that you provided them with the money that they gave you. So for like, let's say month 1, you give them, I don't know, like a new website. So you can put that. Month 2, you did their social media. So, and this will just like, and make sure you number them. So for every month you go up a number. So if you're there for like a year, that'll be 12 invoices that you give them. So also when you get a client, you want to make sure that you have, I'm not fully aware if you have to provide them this, but I like just to give them this for them to feel more secure when they're doing business with me. I always give my clients a W-9 for my business, just so they know that it's tax deductible. So all my services are tax deductible, so they can feel more, that's just a benefit for them when doing business with me. So a W-9 is just stating that they are hiring me to do freelance work for them for the services that I'm providing. So a W-9 I feel is very important, just so they feel more secure when doing business with me, like I said. So and also it's not just like a legal thing, but what I like to do for all my clients is every month I like to give them a timeline, just so they understand which days I'll be doing stuff, I'll be working on, just like that. So they get, because like when you're doing work for someone and like you're not like in their business like every day, they can't really see the work that you're providing them. So by giving them a timeline, they just feel more secure knowing what you're working on for certain days of the month. So like there's a bunch of ways to like I feel like if you don't do these like steps, they'll feel just like, because I like to look at it from my client's point of view, because they understand their business. They don't understand really what I'm doing, because that's why they're paying me. So I can do it and they don't have to worry about that. So for me to give them this, I just feel they just feel more secure. Like if you're like, let's say, a restaurant owner, like you understand how a restaurant works. You don't understand how an agency works, all the social media aspects that go into it. You just want results from the social media experts, and you just want to like understand what they're doing, and you don't want any like BS stuff like that. So you like, it's just a way for them to feel secure. So that's like basically everything you need to make sure that you do. You can, it gets expensive, but you can trademark your, like your logo and just like things like that. So you can register a trademark for your logo if you do get to that point where you just want to make sure that your business is fully secure. So no one's going to go out, steal your logo and be like, there is like, if you don't have a trademark, you don't have to have a trademark. There's a like a law, it's the DMCA. It just means like if you come up with an idea first online, then that just means that you have full rights to it. So if you, let's say you come up with a logo, like, I don't know, like a box, a box. It just means like if you're the first person to come up with that online and you post it online, that means it gives you full rights to it. So that's just one thing. So you don't really have to have a trademark. It's just something to think about it if you do it in the future. So that's basically it. So starting off, I'll just like recap. Make sure you have an LLC, just so business owners feel that you're more like you stand out and you're like professional with your business. So LLCs are also important because it keeps you keeps your personal assets not liable for if anything happens with being sued or anything like that, because that's no fun. And you can if you have the money, you can do it on like LegalZoom for like $400 or something crazy like that. You do get like a binder that says all of your documentation in it, gives you like your EIN number and stuff like that. or you can just do it by yourself, and it's not that hard at all. You just go on Google, just search your state's LLC form, and then you can just fill that out and then send that to the secretary for approval. And there's like some fees that you have to do, but other than that, it's a lot more affordable than actually just paying for someone else to do it. So I would recommend doing that way, just because it's a lot more affordable, like I said. So number two, the forms that you need to make sure you have, or you need to make sure that you do have an agreement. I don't like having contracts. You can have a contract if you want, but most people don't do businesses with a contract, just because no one really likes contracts and the word contract. So I do agreements. It's just a way for both parties to understand what's being, the services being exchanged and the compensation for those services. So also make sure you include an invoice. I always include an invoice just because I want to make sure they understand that they can write it off for a benefit, a huge benefit for them. And I also include a W-9 just so they feel more secure when they're doing business with me, and also so they know for a fact they can write it off. And I also include a timeline, just so I feel that this is the most important part of it, just so they understand. Like, if you're looking at it from their point of view, like, you're not in there every day of every week, so they're just like, what is this guy doing? What is he doing? So they'll like if I feel like, if I was in their position, I would feel like I would need to like call the guy like every second, like every day, like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, like, I'm paying you like $2,000 a month. What are you doing? So this is just goes into effect, like, he can look at it, be like, oh, okay, he's gonna do this day, this day, so I don't have to keep calling him, so I know what he's doing. And make sure for the invoice you include for every month. So that's very important. Lastly, if you would like to have a trademark, if you're in that position to do so, you can. I really don't recommend it, but you can. And just know, if you do have a logo or anything like that, you are protected under the DMCA. I think it's a law. I don't know. I know for Shopify owners, that's a huge thing. But yeah, so that's basically it. It's not very hard to keep your agency legal. It's just some little things that you have to make sure you do, and when you do it, it feels great. I know I did it when I was like 16, and it felt really good. And you can't. Oh, I almost forgot. So when you do get an LLC for your business, you can actually get you can open a bank account. So I did this, so you can open. If you do have credit history, you can get a line of credit for your business. So a line of credit, you can get a debit card. So you can keep. I really recommend this, just because when you're paying taxes, like at the end of the year, this just shows that it keeps your personal assets and their business assets separate, so there's nothing going to like that. So I would recommend, once you do LLC, because you have to have an LLC order for you to open a business bank account, just because you have to have an EIN number, and your EIN number just shows like your social security number. It's like the same thing, it's just for a business. So when you open a bank account, make sure you have your EIN number handy and all of your LLC documentations when you go into the bank to open that. And you will, it's pretty cool. I don't have a line of credit yet. I just use personal credit, just so, yeah. But anyway, that's basically it. So make sure you have an LLC, make sure you have all these forms. I highly recommend making sure you have all these forms for your agency. And lastly, if you want a trademark, go ahead and make sure, I highly recommend, you don't have to, but I highly recommend open a bank account, just so you can keep your personal assets and business assets separate. So if you're confused about any of this, if you would like me to go in depth about it, just shoot me a comment, email me, message me on social media. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I message pretty quickly. So that's it. So that's basically it. So if I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. But anyway, so I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your day. Just make sure you get out there and kill it, grind. Just know that it's possible. When I was younger, I thought it wasn't possible. I just kept working and grinding, just fell in love with the process, and actually quit my job, quit my part-time job, and I'm doing this full time. I don't have a boss to answer to, and it's pretty great. So just know for a fact you can do it if you put in the work, if you just go out there, take action, execute. It is possible. Just know for a fact it's not going to happen quickly, but it will happen. It will happen. Know for the just. I hope all of you know for a fact that you can do it. So just get out there, kill it, get some clients, and just know one day you will get success if you put in the time and the work. So that's all I got for today. So peace, guys. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. All right, bye.